Elephant Man Podcast Network, grown man conversations dealing with elephants in the room. It's your man DB. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can know when new material is coming out. IG Elephant Man _ podcast, Twitter / Poster Boys, Facebook / Elephant Man Podcast, or you can hit the Paleo Hebrew and log on to YouTube. Sorry. Also, Hebrew Sphere, Rumble, BitChute, HebrewConnect.tv, and Odyssey. Blessings to everybody. I am going to get my internet together because I like to show my face. You know, I like the icon is cool. The mysterious icon is cool, but I like to show my face, have my facial expressions, and so I miss my studio, but I did not want to be able to not want to be able to record and go live without that. And also, blessings to everybody. Shalom to everybody that's coming in. Make sure you like, subscribe, share. We're going to start meeting every Sunday at 6 p.m. Central. Between 6 p.m. no later than 6:30 Central. 6:30 p.m. Central. Because I didn't have a set time. If you went to the Elephant Man page on Facebook, it had a survey on there. And majority of people said that 6 p.m. time Central on Sundays was the best time available. Second best time available was like I say it was 8 p.m. on Thursday. That was the second time. Only put a few of them out there, and so I just wanted to be true to my word and come on. We only got one subject tonight, and that is the 15-minute city. Very interesting, and it's a continuation off of what I said before about what is a 15-minute city and what I believe it is. So blessings to everyone that's coming in. Apostle Curtis Lewis, blessings to you. I did not see that email. We will get a chance to build. Tonight was supposed to have been Sister Jill and On Fire Ministries, but we moved it to Thursday because the Hardys on the On Fire Ministries had their child had a birthday party and Sister Jill was going live. She wouldn't be wrapping up till 6:30. So I said, let's just move it to another time. So shalom to you, Elder Curtis Lewis. Shalom. Shalom. Blessings to you, Sister Lynn. Shalom, Ernest Higgs. So 6 o'clock. We're gonna do 6 o'clock Central Time. It's the best time. Well, that's the best time that was voted. We're gonna get into this 15-minute city in a second. Blessings to everybody. Blessings to everybody. If you haven't checked out none of the series about clean or hardened heart, it's not a clean versus a hardened heart. It's just we're just talking about some aspects of clean heart and some aspects of hardened heart. And then we did a part 2 to that. So if you haven't checked those out, check those out. We also will be jumping back on that. Where are the Khazars? Okay, we're gonna be getting on that. Me and Woke Baby. Wokeism and wokeness is a cuss word. I think this is an interesting little book. I haven't read it yet. Woke Baby. All right. So anyway, I don't know why people are scared about woke, but I guess it's the whole thing about liberation. To me, when you say you're woke, it's like dealing with liberation, it's dealing with freedom, it's dealing with awakening, the awakening or awakening. When you say words like that, it's like liberation theology, James Cone. People don't like those kind of words. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, okay. So blessings to everybody coming in. Nature's Graffiti, shalom. Nature's Graffiti, shalom to you. Shalom. All right. So I want to be able to go right into that. What is that? World Economic Forum. Oh, before I go into that, see, look, I'm all over the place. Go ahead and hit the Elephant Man Podcast survey. I'm about to put it in the chat. If you click on the link and take that survey, that will be that would be really good. So here it is right here. Okay. Click on that link, and then it just asks us a few questions. No, I'm not going to turn your stuff in to the police or the government. No, I'm not going to take your identity, anything like that. All right, it's just some survey information so I can serve the community better. And then Elder Apostle Curtis Lewis said he enjoyed the Kazar teaching. There's so many layers to it, man. There's so many layers to it. We didn't really get into the banking system and how they control all of the banks. Majority of the countries got a central bank in it, and I'm kind of going ahead. And then the Hollywood, control the music industry. So a lot of times when we go, we down bad, or we go sign a record contract, and a lot of those images, they are not us, to be honest with you. But we got to make a living. We got to make our money. Yes, we do live in dilapidated areas, a lot of us. A lot of the hoods where the African American live, so-called African American live, is beat down, tore down, right? But a lot of times we want out, right? We aspire like anybody else to do best, to do better, and dream big. You know what I mean? But if I'm only a killer and a thug and a pimp and buying the bar out, and that's all of my songs. Really, realistically, the last 10 years, now we're going into Satanism and homosexuality. But I'll leave that for a whole nother day. But before then, we was just uh, gangstered out. But even before that, before they had that before the privatized prison systems and stuff, they did talk about some different things that was going on in the hood. But I remember in the early, well, I ain't gonna date myself. I remember in earlier years, they had songs like Crack is Whack, and they was going against the struggle. And it's almost like a blues songs talking about the struggle. And then all of a sudden, it was glorified overnight. Our struggle was straight glorified, right? Straight glorified. And I was just like, wow, it was a badge of honor to hit the prison system. And sometimes we make mistakes, you feel what I'm saying? But you're supposed to serve your sentence and then you're done with it, you move on with life. You know, but it was like a badge of honor. Man, I did these many years. Man, you can't get them years back, man, off of your life. And so all our music changed all of a sudden. And we're so diverse, right? We're so diverse as a people. That's why we got jazz, we got blues, we got R&B sound, we got even the rock and roll sound, believe it or not, was started in our community. If you ever watched the Elvis movie, I thought it was going to be whack, you know, but it was better than what I thought it was. A lot better. You will enjoy the Elvis movie because it lets you know how he got to where he got to and all that stuff. But anyway, my whole thing is the 15-minute city. Now, I was talking to you guys about the World Economic Forum, right? World Economic Forum website. World Economic Forum was founded on January 24th, 1971 by Klaus Schwab, German engineer. And they've been having these different, basically it's the global elite having these different meetings every year in the mountains of Switzerland, you know. And then when people ask questions about it, they call you a woke person or conspiracy theorist. And it's okay to ask intelligent questions. I'm here to tell you right here and right now, it is okay to ask an intelligent question. It's okay to make an assessment, right? The powers that shouldn't be, the powers that not. Don't let them just give us whatever. It's okay to ask a question or a suggestion, right? We sitting over here worrying about the music awards, and they in the hills of Switzerland trying to carve out how your life's supposed to be. But anyway, the 15-minute city, I'm gonna show this video first. I got several videos, but then I'm gonna get my take on it. And it's a continuation for what I said a couple of weeks ago, but I thought the 15-minute city was. Now, at first, it sounds, if you just don't be sharing my with the UA people. No, I'm not going to share your information with the urban apologetic community. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Blessings to you. Marilyn Lumar, shalom, blessings to you. I'm not going to share it, but I'm going to show this video about the 15-minute city. Basically, we hear a lot about climate change, global warming. We hear a lot about carbon, and our planet is real. We're not gonna have resources, and we're not gonna have clean air to breathe, and we're not gonna have fresh water to drink, and all these different things. And I say personally, that is an insult to the Most High. He will not create this planet, put us on it, and then it can't, and it's not be sustained. It's sustained by Him, and short. You know what I mean? But the people that they have a God complex. They got so much money and so much time and nothing to do with it. So they want to control, in my opinion, the bodies and souls of men. Right? They want to control the bodies and the souls of men. So they had nothing better to do. They go up in the Swiss Alps mountains and make up plans and different things like that. And these different lockdowns and stuff like that. And I don't know if you ever seen 1984 or read the book 1984, but it's very, very interesting. And even in that book, and he died at about 1948, right? But he was a journalist, and he seen some things. And he was talking about dystopian future and all that stuff. 1984, all those different books like that is very, very interesting. How did he know that would be an upcoming uh, future sooner than later? Very, very interesting. But people lived in certain cities and certain districts, almost almost like the Hunger Games and stuff. You lived in certain districts and you didn't leave that district. You stayed in that district, right? If you went outside that district, it's a violation, right? So, in a nutshell, I'm gonna play this video, but it says basically the 15-minute city is: what if you can have everything you need in one little area, and you just stayed in that area? You didn't go anywhere else. You stayed in that area. You shopped there. You went to school there. You raised your kids there. You got your drugs there, groceries there, your movies there, your entertainment, all that in that one area. You really didn't have to leave that area. So that sounds like a utopian place to some, the way they're trying to make it sound. But it might be something different than that. But we're going to show this video on 15-minute city. Then I'm going to get my take on it, and then we're gonna get out. All right, let's check it out. Put it up. Let's see.
Before the recent lockdowns around the world, we led hectic lives with long commutes and not enough time to spend with our families and friends. Traffic polluted our air and smog blanketed our skylines.
What if it could be different? What if we could create a new normal where we reclaim our time, our health and well-being, and our communities?
Is the idea behind the 15-minute city, a growing movement to make our lives in cities more convenient, less stressful, and sustainable. A 15-minute city is one where everything we need is close to home, where communities are safe and inclusive, where the air is clean.
A 15-minute city is one where it's easy to get goods and services. Fresh groceries, healthcare, and other amenities are all just a short trip away. A 15-minute city is one where everyone has a place.
A 15-minute city has affordable, accessible, and adaptable housing for households of all sizes and ages.
A 15-minute city means that you can work close to home or work remotely more often.
And we all play a role in our neighborhood.
What if we don't go back to life as it was? What if we already have the power to change how we live? Together, we can reimagine and create the future we want. One that is cleaner, safer, healthier, and more inclusive, and gives us back valuable time to enjoy the little things.
All right, so the music sounded good, and it sounds like it's a good idea. Right? Sound like it's a good idea. They was basically talking about the cars with their carbon emission and all of that stuff. They talking about they noticed the skyline when we was all on lockdown doing C-19. Fair use too. Leave me alone about me. During C-19, the carbon's emission, they looked at the skyline of LA and they said, man, it's real clean. Man, there's not a lot of smog because people are not driving and going to work every day because they're on lockdown. They on straight lockdown. So they was like, I mean, the 15-minute city is not a new idea, but they're trying to bring it back up. But I think it never really left. But I'm gonna tell you why in a minute. But you see how they made it sound all cute and nice. I'm gonna play 2 more videos on it, and me and Woke Baby gonna give our points on what we think of what the 15-minute city is. So I'm gonna share this one. This one kind of semi poking fun at it, but then it's still got some interesting things at it too. So they're trying to get these 15-minute cities in a lot of places in Europe and stuff like that. But I'm gonna share part of this, and then we're gonna chat. All right, let's show this one right here.
This is George Orwell on steroids.
It's a dystopian hell.
First came the lizard rulers. Then 5G shredded our DNA. Now conspiracy theorists are homing in on town planning.
You in your area will only be allowed within that 15-minute zone that you've been allocated.
There's going to be a stipulation in this policy that says, look, we will never have barricades here. No, we didn't consider that.
This is real.
The target of this newfound fury, the 15-minute city.
The 15-minute city is actually about getting people to, or enabling basically, walking and active travel to shops, schools, and basically places where they want to go.
What started as a way to make life more manageable and sustainable has been recast as a cynical ploy by climate-obsessed autocracies bent on control.
You will have to apply to leave your 15-minute district.
How much easier would it be for them to literally lock us down?
COVID has crystallized a lot of concerns.
Think back to COVID, think back to COVID, think back to COVID.
Around how governments can and can't control things like people's movements. Conspiracy theories really offer a nice way for people to make sense of stuff that is stressing them out, basically.
A lot of the angst is centred in Oxford in the UK, which is trialling divvying up the city into 6 areas and forcing residents to drive on a ring road to access each one.
Okay, so this is almost like a map. So each one of those colorful areas will be one of the districts that you stay in, and then that's where you'll be. That's where you'll live at, right? So if you're in pink, everything you need to do is in pink. If you're in blue, everything you need to do is in blue, and red, yellow, and so on and so forth. And so, say for instance, you lived in pink and you needed to get to yellow to work. You don't drive through town because that's supposed to increase emissions, carbon and stuff like that. So this ring around the town, you're supposed to ride around this town and then get there. But they were saying that don't make sense because that would take longer to get to work, and it's just real. Aruka of the world, shalom, fam, shalom. Blessings to you. You love Yah. Shalom. Kwam Yasharah. Blessings to you. Separate our land. I guess it's their time. Oh, y'all be tripping. Okay, so this is the concept, but I'm not. Me and Woke Baby is not going to give our understanding of what we feel is going on with it until after the video. So let's finish watching this video, but I just wanted to pause it there because it's showing the map of what they're trying to do, cluster together towns.
Rather than travelling directly across town.
It has nothing to do with increased intervention by governments or increased surveillance. They will also be helping the environment a lot because they'll be, hopefully, using their car less.
Right now, Melbourne, Wollongong, Coffs Harbour and parts of Sydney are all aiming to become 15 or 20-minute cities. Brisbane's West End already qualifies.
Many Australian cities face a challenge of how to create community, how to build walkable suburbs really quickly so that they are as livable and as enjoyable as inner city areas.
I love a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, you do. Do you buy into this one?
Well, I don't know about you, but I have been locked down by governments recently.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's kind of an easy thing to go, conspiracy theorists. However, let us just remember that in the 1600s, a guy called Galileo was put in jail and I think died in jail because he said the earth went around the sun.
Oh, well, That's that then.
Okay, because that at the time was considered to be heresy, and now we know it to be the truth.
Yeah, but that's not a conspiracy.
It was then, Waleed.
What was the conspiracy?
The conspiracy was that what he believed was wrong, what he was telling people was wrong.
Right, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So,
but that's not okay. I feel
I just feel increasingly like there's a battle for control of people. Clearly, everywhere you go, there are cameras. Everywhere you go, I don't think conspiracy theorists in some cases are that crazy.
But the thing
The
about
robot birds thing's pretty crazy, though, isn't it? All birds are robots.
I don't know about all.
All right. See, you get a label real quick, fast, in a hurry. Why does it have to be a conspiracy theory label? Why can't you just question it and say, yo, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Me and Woke Baby is about to give our take on it. Where my Woke Baby picture at? Woke Baby. All right. They don't like that word woke. I don't know why. But anyway, this is what I believe, man. This is what I believe. Well, let's go to the article, and right at the World Economic Forum website. Present World Economic Forum website. A creative destruction of cities. That sounds crazy. This is on their site. Fair use. This is a public record. This is a public website. I can read this on my show. Amen. The creative destruction of cities. C-19 may be flipping on its head, which is why the 15-minute city concept is taking hold in a way that would not have been before the pandemic. As demonstrated by the illustration below, the 15-minute city puts home at the center of urban spatial relationships. The point is not to have every cultural anonymity and human desire within immediate reach of one's doorstep. New York can only have one Broadway theater, but there's no question that Midtown Manhattan will have the following similarities, blah, 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 blah. So basically, it's also like your home, everything is 15 minutes away from your home. So that's what they're trying to get back to. So now I'm going to give a point. I want y'all to put in the chat what y'all think going on, but me and Woke Baby, just think that it's a global hood, if I should say it like that. In my opinion, they're trying because the more people that comes up on the planet, right? We got 7 billion or 8 billion going. They say about 2050. Yatiri spell life. And they don't start this depopulation stuff. It should be almost up to 9 or 10 million people. But I believe the right amount of people die and are born on the planet. Abba Yah is an intelligent father, right? So he's not going to have all these people being born and the earth can't sustain it, right? But what it is the elites won't be able to have a whole, in my opinion. They won't be able to control the resources, right? You won't be able to tax and control and manipulate the resources. You won't be able to keep an eye on people and the resources, right? We're not going to talk about depopulation because that's a whole other different thing. But look, what I mean by global hood is, I don't know, a lot of us grew up in inner city projects, inner city houses. I grew up in a single parent household, inner city project. As a probably some of you in the chat as well, right? Low income housing, right? What was it? It was gated. It was fenced in. If it's in a major city, it was a high riser like New York and Chicago with the Caprini Greens. And then if it wasn't as dense, you still had these little neighborhoods all throughout your city, low income housing, right? And you just was in survival of the fittest mode. You didn't have a lot of, in the richest country in the world, you didn't have a lot of resources all the time, but Abba Yah was with us and he took care of us for us to live and be able to make it out of those different environments or whatever. But I seen a lot, even in my area, a lot of those different neighborhoods were closing down. I'm like, man, they're closing down a lot of the different projects because it to me it literally was a project. It's a project, should say. You know what I'm saying? To see, like, sometimes I feel like we were like human lab rats. You feel me? Why wouldn't they go through these different experiments? Two things, even in my neighborhood that I grew up in, and I mentioned this is my, mentioned it before, as far as with the cabinets, the kitchen cabinets they put into these low income housing, they had asbestos boards in them. Now, was it an honest mistake, or was it okay? We're gonna put this asbestos in these people and see around these people and see how. Was it just a cheaper material, and they found out later that asbestos material wasn't good for you, or was it purposely did? We don't know. But I'm saying if they did know, it's like, okay, we're going to see how it affects them, right? It was also lead in our ground, right? It was a lot of different things, you know what I mean, in these different areas. It was gated, it was fenced, right? It was low income. And then for those who got the TANF or the welfare, it's almost like you was dependent. You was dependent upon the government to hook you up. You waited for the government to give you your stamps. It was stamps back then. It wasn't no stamp card. It was actual stamps with the books, or you waited for, whatever. And then you couldn't have, if you got anything, you would get taxed. So you already got a little bit, right? So if let's say you get a part-time job, that's going to cut into your benefits. So you either got to hide that job. I'm just keeping it real. We just chat you in the fact. You either had to hide that job or get a job where you didn't get W-2s and tax under the table. You know what I'm saying? Running numbers, hustling, whatever. So you can get tax-free money. So so the government don't know about it. You're still getting your benefits. They're not cutting to your stamp, and now you got this money. Or if you get a little car, right, to get from A to B, then they would tax you again, right? And one of the stipulations, I thought that was interesting, predominantly black and brown, so-called black and brown people, a male could not stay there. The man couldn't be there. The man could not be there. Y'all need that movie in the 70s called Claudine or whatever it was called. The man could not be there. He could not be the head of the household. So this brings this dependence upon the government, right? You can't really make no moves, because if you make any moves, then it's going to cut, because you ain't really ready to come out the hole, right? They came up with welfare to work and all these other programs. But if you weren't really ready to make no moves, and we just chewing the fat, right? Then you're going to stay stuck. You're kind of stuck in the catch-22. The insurance was the bomb, because it was everything was paid for. It wasn't no copay. You know how it was set up right now. We working, and they take $300, $400, $150 per check or per month out your check. And then when you go to the doctor, right? I got good insurance. You still got to pay a copay. No, take another $300 you took out of last month's check. What y'all doing? It's just a game. It's a scam. It's a racket. You know what I mean? And so it's like the insurance was the bomb, because it took care of everything. The food, right? Once the stamp said you're eating big, right? I'm just, for those who, lived in that situation, y'all know what I'm talking about. So any move to do better, it wasn't that you was a lazy welfare queen and all this old crap, but any move to do better was penalized, right? So you would stay in this perpetual state. You would stay in this state. You feel me? And it was real weird. It just was real weird. And so then to fast forward, a lot of them start closing. Oh, we got to take these, cabinets out because, asbestos ain't good for you. Well, I've been here 20 years going in and out of these cabinets. Oh, the soil, we got to move y'all out of here because the soil is not good. Oh, thanks for telling us not. I played in the park with this soil. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? And some people got tested for lead and had a different thing. And it's just like a big experiment. The Tuskegee Project and many more that's not even talked about as far as when it comes to medical, right? Medical apartheid, right? Different things like that. And so then it's like, okay, that happened a long time ago when everything was black and white, TV and different things like that. We ain't like that no more. Roll your sleeve up, trust us. And it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. It ain't like that no more. You just you're a conspiracy theory. You're a woke person. And come on, man. It's just real weird. It's just a weird, vulnerable place. And the red flag for me with the jab, and if you took the jab, may the Abba Yah bless you. I ain't against you. But for me, the main thing for me was when they lined us up first to take it. I'm like, we ain't never been in the front of the line for nothing. And now we the last, and now we the front of the line for the jab. Because you don't know what the side effects is, right? It ain't been studied and monitored for 10 years like the other vaxxers. Like, nah, man. So they do a lot of weird stuff. So I believe that this 15-minute city was data taken from the projects, right? And now we're trying to get this global projects, if I should say it like that. And here's why I say that. Because they gave a lot of stimulus out during C-19, right? They was like, if you're not an essential worker, then if your job is not an essential job, you're not an essential worker, go home. And people was spazzing like, oh man, you know what I'm saying? It just so happened that I had an essential gig or whatever. Oh man, and 6 feet apart and mask, and everybody had a hand sanitizer, and every 5 minutes watching the news and see what's going on. And it was new, right? And we didn't know what was going on with it. Well, it wasn't really new, but they spent it like it was new. Oh man, this, that, and the other, right? And so while you at home and you getting the stimulus check, you get a check. A lot of people started home businesses. A lot of people never went back to work. They was like, man, so it was like a reverse engineering to go from a lab rat situation to, man, I could sit at home and order Amazon stuff, right? And you sit at home and you buying all of this stuff and you got all of these subscriptions and all of this stuff. And now, with the metaverse and all of this stuff, they got virtual real estate, right? Where you paying big time money, dressing your virtual character up with Jordans and furs and all this old crazy crap. That's not real, but you paying real money for it, so you can digitally flex in the metaverse. That is insane to me. You'll all nothing and be happy. Some people say the fact check was oh, that ain't what was really said. But if I got everything virtual, I'm in a 15-minute city, right? And my whole life revolved around this virtual reality that you created for me, right? And then I get UBI. They're working on UBI, Universal Basic Income. That's welfare. Come on, man. You can't fool us, man. Government assistance. Right? Social credit score. Social credit score is, you act right, you behave, you get your universal basic income money, and you get these amenities. You can travel, you can do this, that, and the other, maybe free tickets to something. But if you sow discord among this fake utopia, this fake peace and prosperity city, then next thing you know, your social credit scores got hit up. I want y'all to look this up. Social credit score. They tried it in certain cities in the Orient, in over there in China. They tried the social credit score. So you got to behave, right? So it's almost the same thing how our athletes are, they neutered pretty much. Man, I want to say this, but I can't lose my Nike endorsement. I can't lose my Gatorade endorsement. I can't lose my Adidas endorsement, right? So you got influence, you got power, but you really can't speak out against injustices, right? It's different than MLK Day and Malcolm X and even Sidney Poitier and Harry Belafonte and even Richard Roundtree and Muhammad Ali. They spoke out against injustice. They used their influence and platform to speak out against injustice, right? But today, they flipped it. Give you a television show or something, and next you know, you can't speak out against nothing, right? You can't speak out against none, right? So, but anyway, I just think that the social credit score, the 15-minute city, is just one big hood, right? And if you try to do better, you try to say something, and then even with censorship is going to be hit real heavy, right? Real heavy. So if you ain't been a good boy or a good girl in their eyes, your social credit score gonna get hit, or they're gonna hold or pause or freeze your payment because once they get rid of the dollar or just paper currency and everything is digital, you know they're gonna sell it like, well, can't nobody rob you now, right? At gunpoint for your money because it'll all be on the card or all be somewhere, in the metaverse, Bitcoin, or in your hand, or scan your hand or whatever. And all this stuff is pretty much going on now. It'll be it'll be in that. You know what I mean? So you ain't got to worry about the money getting stolen. Because it's all, I seen a store, they had a store where the money that they had was on, I don't know if it was a chip in them or what. They go into the store, pick up the stuff, put it in the bag, walk out. And as they walk out, it scans everything that they bought or picked up and it deducted from their currency digitally. I thought that was interesting. Very, very interesting. But if you go digital currency, every transaction, every single transaction. You know what I mean? I mean, we're dealing with Cash App and stuff now, and we're dealing with the cards, now. Again, they even had a Monopoly game where everybody get a digital card. You put it in a machine instead of the hundreds and the fives and the tens. You can play with a digital card Monopoly, but that's not as fun because you need to see how much money you accumulated when you play Monopoly, right? So, but now they know all your spending. That's why even right now, if you go search something on the internet, you go to social media, right? You search for a special raincoat or something. You go on to Facebook, they got all kinds of ads about that raincoat, all in your stuff, right? They got all that in there. So digital buying, okay, I see they go to Family Dollar these many times a month. Okay. Oh, they really love fried chicken. They done went to Sharks 7 times this month. Okay. They done went to Walmart and they bought this, they bought that. Them coupons be coming to your social media site. They'll be straight in your social media. Like, how they know I like Sharks or whatever? Sharks is a chicken place for those who, some people might not know what Sharks is. But it's just a little fried chicken place. They sprinkle lemon pepper on everything. And you get a coupon for that or whatever, right? So I just think it's just trying to be a digital hood, man. The 15-minute city is, and you see in that last video, they was trying to make fun of it with the person with the eyes getting all big and stuff and try to make you crazy. If you don't go with the narrative, I see that a lot. If you don't go with the narrative, they try to make you out to be crazy. You the crazy one because you ain't going with the narrative. You crazy. No, I'm just asking. I ain't saying I don't trust it. I ain't saying I do trust it. I'm just asking the question. Right? They really look at us as little kids with no intelligence, with no nothing. Right? And now you can't even say, well, I went to college and now I'm intelligent. No, because you getting taught, you're getting trained to go work in the cubicle. Right? We're not learning a lot of stuff on the outside. And I found that out after college. Right? We walking around ready for the party, and then some of the overseas students studying on a Friday and Saturday night. And I'm like, man, that's a party going on. It's a skating party. They always had something. We was going out, hanging out, right? But they knew what was going on. They was getting the information, right? And getting their degrees and stuff like that. They knew they had to pay these loans back. You feel for those who didn't go on scholarship and those who didn't go on grants, right? And so anyway, I didn't want to get off on that. Let's look at these comments. Man, there's 77 comments. Tracking everything. Yeah, absolutely. They're gonna be trying to track everything. Brew Queen, shalom, blessings to you. Blessings to you, Kimberly J. Shalom, blessings to you. 78 Vet, blessings to you. GLC, she switched it over from Aruka to GLC. Blessings unto you. Shalia Rochelle, blessings unto you. Blessings unto y'all. Blessings to y'all. But this is here chewing the fat. We're talking about that 15-minute city and how what I and the only reason I put two and two together and they're trying to introduce it like it's something new is because they started closing down all of the low-income houses. Because they said it was going to be affordable housing, right? It's going to be this utopia, right? Everybody's going to be on bikes. Let me get that picture. Let me see. I got my picture. All right, so they're trying to flip it like this. So walking, cycling, public transportation, private cars, to more walking, more cycling, more public transportation, and less cars, okay? So and it's like I said, when it's introduced, it sounds like a good idea, right? But if you go outside your surroundings, then you get penalized, right? You'll get a ticket, right? You got to stay in your like the Truman Show. Put a one in the chat if you've seen the Truman Show, that movie, but Jim Carrey back in the day, right? Right? Try to keep so it's a way to keep control of the people. In my opinion, and me and Woke Baby opinion, me and Woke Baby's opinion, it's a way to keep control of the resources. It's a way to keep control of your coming and your going, what you're spending, what you're doing, where you're going. So, if you had a chip in you, I mean, it's a way they track you now because you can't go nowhere without that phone. So, but sometimes you can leave the phone, you can break the phone, you can lose the phone. One, two, it's homeless people that don't even have phones, right? Or people that's down bad. And then I used to see them those setups in the hood like free phone, free government phone. We want everybody to get a phone. But if everybody got a chip, or if we can track everything you do, right? Put something in the chip too that if you don't act right, it's a die subtly situation. And the chip didn't you know what I mean, then took you out. I know that sound conspiracy theorists and science fiction, but man, John 10:10 said the enemy come to steal, kill, and destroy. Yahushua said, I come that you may have life and that more abundantly. Life and that more abundantly. Praise Yahushua. So, 15-minute city scene to explain the push for fake meat. Okay, let's see what Ernest Higgs saying. 15-minute city scenes to explain the push for fake meat and CBDCs, UI, and less community, all traceable throughout the digital footprint. Total control. Yeah, absolutely. You'll own nothing and be happy. You don't need that car. You don't need that. You don't need your thought. You don't need your opinion. You don't need none of that, right? You can't tell me you weren't tripping. Well, not tripping, but weren't excited to see that's all y'all probably didn't get the stimulus. Y'all, I know I'll be sitting at home. We can't go nowhere, man. They hit the stimulus in my account. I ain't gonna even. I was like, what? Cool. Feel me? But I wasn't like, I'm gonna worship y'all because you owe me anyway. That was my attitude. You owe me 100 million more, or whatever for reparations. You know what I'm saying? Now you want to call me a lazy welfare king and somebody wanting a handout. No, the Homestead Act, when you gave farmers land instead of giving me 40 acres and a mule, that's a handout. You're giving them the land and then have me do sharecropping on my land that you owe me. You owe me money. You say you're going to give me 40 acres of mule and $100. You don't give it to me. You have the Homestead Act. You give them the land, and then and we can work on their land, but it's still in your possession. All right, bet them up. Anyway, I'm not to say that in revenge, but I'm just like, it's no perfect. It's you can't get away with these things, man. You cannot get away with these things. He will be an unjust Abba if that happened. I use that stimulus to stock up the earth for my business. Right. But it's an introduction to the universal basic income, right? Because if I show that, I'll show that U.S. debt clock. I don't even know if I should show it right now. This debt clock is crazy. U.S. debt clock. Let me just see. Can we pull it up? I usually don't look at it. Ooh. All right, I'm finna show it real quick, and then we're gonna get out of invite. No, not invite. Come on, you ain't a rookie to this. All right, here we go. U.S. debt clock in real time. All right, and a lot of y'all know about this. This is what's going on right now. Right? Let me see. Can I get it? Okay, the top left corner in real time. It's going because it's in real time. Right? And I shouldn't have showed this clock because some people are going to spaz. I think that's 31 trillion. Let me see. Million, 10 million, 100 million, billion, 10 billion, 100 billion, trillion, 10 trillion. So it's 31 trillion and counting. So the red is what's going on right now. Right? And they got, this is the revenue that's coming in versus the debt. Right? We live off a society of debt. The whole system set up like that, right? So when you so you'll try to crash the dollar, right? It's an economic. They're going to try to crash this dollar, and you got nations that's turned against the United States. The United States is so full of themselves. They got such an ego, they don't even know. The wagons is circling, and then they know, but they tell us different on the news. Anyway, they're trying to destroy that dollar because the dollar is connected to the petrol, right? Which is my point is this. We got all these oil and gas cars, right? Because if you get rid of the oil and gas cars, then you can stop the carbon and the emissions and all of that. But then you're not going to make money at the pump. So you got to demonize electric cars and cars with water. And they got different technologies out there, right? They demonize it, or you know what I mean? If it's that serious about carbon emission and all of that, let's just slowly phase out those petroleum cars, right? Slowly phase out those petroleum cars and let us get electric cars and different things like that. You know what I'm saying? Solar powered cars or something, right? Let us phase it out. See what I'm saying? If it's that serious, see, they don't like this kind of conversations. That's why they don't like woke baby. They don't like woke baby. They don't like woke baby at all because we had these conversations, grown man conversations that deals with the elephants in the room. Right? They don't want to talk about that. So they're trying to crash a dollar. The dollar's connected to petrol. So a lot of different, even though a lot of these countries got a central bank in their country, they're trying to bag out. All right, we're going to put our money here. We're going to do this. We're going to come together, this, that, and other. So after you crash it, had this big old fallout, big old crazy wars and stuff. Everybody wore out. They had this fake peace that they talked about in the Bible. Like, you know what? We need to just come together, rebuild our cities, 15-minute cities. If your social credit score is good, you'll get your universal basic income, right? You'll own nothing, you'll have everything. And that's bondage. That's bondage. And so some folk is against that. That is my thought on that. All right. So that's it. We're gonna be meeting on Sundays at 6:15. Oh, my internet is acting up. We're gonna be meeting on Sundays, not 6:15. Look at me, lying. I don't like that word lying. Stretching the truth. 6 o'clock Central Time. If you have not filled out that survey, please fill it out. I will turn it into the Urban Apologist Community. No, I'm just playing. Please fill it out, man, because it helped me know how and what to do as far as serving my community. Now I'm gonna have only 5 more minutes, 10 more minutes, and we can if you want to come online, I can put the link in the chat and we can talk about it. It's up to y'all. We don't have to. I'm trying to find that link again. Let me put the link in the chat. Do the survey for me, please. So that's my take on it. Because I was like, okay, depending on the government, right? I mean, get rid of everything, depending on the government, right? They can do anything they want to. They can, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no you dependent, right? Like a little kid. They want you to depend on them more so than Abba. All right, so let me put this link in the chat for the survey. Go ahead and do that survey for me. That would be a blessing. It shows me where to put my resources and how to serve my community. Ray King Hardy, what's going on? Blessings to you. I seen him on the Facebook side. Anyway, I will put it in the chat if y'all want me to. 78 vets, some of y'all can come up and just say something. Y'all want to, y'all can. If not, no pressure. No harm, no foul, no pressure. All right, I'm putting in the chat and for about 10 minutes, and then we're gonna get on up out of here. Shalom, I missed the live. No, we're right here in the live right now. We're just talking about the 15-minute city and how it parallels to being a big old global hood. Now, it might not be ran down as our communities used to be or is, but but also too, I seen this other part. It's a way to continue to redline because our people will be still in a certain district, in a certain place. You know what I mean? Undesirable parts of town, close to the factories. The same thing we got going on right now, right? It won't need to be no need for no white flight or anything like that because they'll be on the affluent side and you on the other side, and you can't really go through that side. That's a true concern. All right, so have a blessed night. Okay, blessings to you all. Blessings to you all. All right. Yeah, woke baby at the door. That's based off a book, man. We were talking about that wokeism one time. So anyway, we gonna like the Hunger Games, breaking it up into districts, right? Breaking it up into districts. They're trying to have a real live Squid Games, real live Hunger Games. You know what I mean? And I think that's another reason why they be like, America's gun crazy. We got ARs, and all kind of stuff, right? So you can't just easily take over. These people think they're patriots and stuff. They're gonna think they're gonna storm the Capitol and be patriots, and I don't know. They believe they hype. They don't understand. There's weapons out there they ain't even seen yet. So they can be brave and heroic if they want to. I just tuned in. What's a 15-minute city? A 15-minute city is something that the World Forum is trying to introduce, to try to have everybody be within biking or walking distance of all of their needs. And so they'll stay in a certain area, a certain district. And so they would never have to leave their district because everything they need is in that area. And when they try to leave and go to other areas, then they will get penalized, right? To cut down on the carbon emission, but we think it's a control for the wealth and the bodies and souls of men. I think I had one more quick little video since you just got here. Let me see. And then I ain't gonna show it all. I'm gonna show part of it. Then we're gonna get up out of here.
World Economic Forum, or WEF, published an article about the popularity of social called 15 Minutes and presented this deceptive picture of Google search trends for the term as evidence. As you can clearly see, this search term wasn't popular until recently. More importantly, the recent spike in popularity is not due to widespread support, but widespread opposition to this controversial idea. Today, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about 15-minute cities, including who is behind them, where they're being tried, and why they're the exact opposite of what the WEF has advertised. As the name suggests, the idea of the 15-minute city is basically the belief that existing cities can and should be transformed and divided into districts where everything is available within 15 minutes of walking or cycling. This includes things like schools, hospitals, grocery stores, recreation facilities, and so on. Although this concept of having everything within arm's reach has been around for decades and was tried in places like the Soviet Union, the term 15-minute city was only coined in 2016 by Carlos Moreno. Now, Carlos is a Colombian-born city planner who's been teaching at French universities since the 1980s. In a TED Talk from January 2021, Carlos explained that his primary motivation for designing the 15-minute city was the climate. He also revealed that 15-minute cities would require a, quote, new economic model. But of course, the focus has been around the supposed human benefits it will bring. Now, what's interesting is that the concept of a 15-minute city didn't really take off until the start of the pandemic in early 2020. The story goes that city planners in Paris noticed that people would stay in their local areas because of the pandemic. This gave them the idea to try out Carlos's 15-minute concept in the city. The thing is that Anne Hidalgo, the mayor of Paris, was apparently planning on dividing the city into 15-minute districts months before the pandemic actually began. Doing so was actually part of her 2020 re-election campaign. Now, Carlos has also reportedly been advising Anne about the concept for years, if not longer. For context, Anne has been the mayor of Paris since 2014, and Carlos has been working on, quote, digital and sustainable smart cities since the early 2000s. Not surprisingly, Anne is a part of the WEF and has been a contributor to its global agenda. Surprisingly, Carlos is not part of the WEF, at least not yet. You can learn more about the WEF's global agenda using the link in the description. Now, when I say that the concept of a 15-minute city took off at the start of the pandemic, I don't mean that it became popular with the average person. I mean that it became popular with the WEF and other organizations that have been obsessed with achieving the Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs. For those unfamiliar, the SDGs are a set of 17 goals created by the United Nations, which are supposed to be met by all member countries by 2030. Like the concept of 15-minute cities, the UN's SDGs appear to be benign or appealing, but in reality prescribe the creation of terrifying technologies like digital ID. If you watched our video about digital ID, you'll know that the UN's SDGs are being pushed by the public sector through regulations and by the private sector through ESG investing. The incentive for the public sector is more control of citizens, and for the private sector, well, it's profits, at least on paper. As far as I can tell, the push for 15-minute cities has come primarily from public institutions, probably because it won't be profitable for the private sector. In fact, this is likely why the concept didn't get much publicity until recently, and why private organizations like the WEF haven't been all that involved. Case in point, the WEF's only discussion about 15-minute cities occurred during the Sustainable Development Impact Summit in September 2021, which was co-hosted by the UN. It's actually in this discussion that the Mayor of Melbourne revealed that private sector support is lacking. Now, this begs the question of which organization is behind the 15-minute city push, and the answer is the C40 Cities Climate Leadership Group, or C40 for short. According to Wikipedia, the C40 consists of 97 of the world's largest cities, accounting for 1/12 of the global population and 1/4 of the global economy. C40 was originally founded as the C20 in 2005 by then London Mayor Ken Livingstone. What's wild is that the C20 merged with the Clinton Climate Initiative the following year to become the C40. The Clinton Climate Initiative has its roots in the Clinton Foundation. Let's leave it at that. Now, the C40 seems to have gained influence after the Paris Agreement of 2015, which was hosted by Anne. The C40 is currently headed by London Mayor Sadiq Khan, and its board of directors is headed by billionaire and former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg, who owns Bloomberg News. In July 2020, the C40 published an article titled, quote, "How to Build Back Better with a 15-Minute City." Shortly afterwards, many of the 97 cities that are part of the C40 announced plans to radically transform themselves to fit the theoretical UN SDG-compliant city created by Carlos and his colleagues. In January last year, the C40 published another article which highlighted Barcelona, Bogota, Buenos Aires, Melbourne, Milan, Paris, and Portland as a few of the first movers. Obviously, radically transforming a city in this way isn't cheap. That's why the C40 announced that it had partnered with NREP to pilot the 15-minute city concept in, quote, at least 5 unnamed cities in September last year. Now, NREP is a Danish urban investment firm with...
So that's it right there. He gave us some more information on it. I'm going to put the link to that video in the chat. You can check that out as well. Very interesting, man. Very, very interesting topic. They like to poke fun at the so-called conspiracy theory people. But we ain't going. We ain't going, are we, woke baby? We ain't going. We ain't going. All right, Elephant Man Podcast Network, Grown Man Conversation. Join me every Sunday from 6 p.m. Central. All right, 6 p.m. Central. And for the Eastern people, that'll be 7 p.m. Central. So we'll be every Sunday, 6 p.m. Central. Elephant Man Podcast Network, Grown Man Conversation, dealing with efforts in the room. I am out. Perfect. Perfect.